All right, so let's dive into step number 4. I'm on the dashboard. I'll click on the button within this box in order to go to step 4. On this page, we've outlined some really good tips and information to help you through the business credit building process. We're talking about trade accounts and vendors here. What is a trade account or a vendor? It's a store-specific account or an account with a supplier. They typically offer net terms. That means, for instance, if you have a net 30 account with Home Depot, you can purchase supplies and you'll receive an invoice that's due 30 days from that purchase date. Most lenders do check your business credit when you apply for business financing. The funny thing about that is most banks and lenders don't actually report. So it's important to build your business credit even though your business finance companies typically don't report, they are still checking to see that you have business credit history there. That's why it's important that we're using these trade account or vendor accounts. Under this next section, we're talking about how trade accounts report. It's important that you use the correct business name or address when you're setting up your trade or vendor accounts. For instance, you made that purchase on your new Home Depot Net 30 account. When you make the payment, Home Depot will submit the business name and information along with the credit account information to the Business Credit Bureau. The Business Credit Bureau takes that information and matches it up to their database, to the file that your business already has with them. If you have the incorrect information with your business credit reporting agency or with Home Depot, those files aren't going to match up correctly. How many purchases or payments do you need to make in order for a trade account to report? Typically just one does the trick, but two just to be safe. How long does it take for a trade account or a vendor account to report? Typically it takes 1 to 2 billing cycles, but it can take up to 90 days. Make sure you're giving them enough time to report. This is the nice part about purchasing the monitoring. It will notify you as your trade accounts start showing on your business credit reports. Okay, how do you actually get your trade accounts to report? Most of the accounts on the program report automatically, so you don't need to do anything. If you feel like it's been past 90 days and they haven't reported, you can call, make sure they reported, make sure they have the correct business information, and so on. The advisor team can help you with that situation. Let's go to the third section here, selecting and applying for trade accounts. Within step 4, you'll see lists of trade accounts that we've identified in the market that will approve at this stage. So keep in mind, we're in step 4. That means we have little to no business credit history. We're not applying for these accounts with a personal guarantee. So we are starting with accounts that are going to give us smaller approvals, and we're using them just to start building the business credit. The advisor team often hears, these accounts are not as useful as a big $10,000 Home Depot account would be. And our typical response to that is we need to start building the business credit so you can get that approval. We're not giving them a personal guarantee. We're not showing them any other business credit history. So there's got to be something there to make these vendors comfortable in approving you for the amounts that you want, and that's why it's a building process. Okay. Some applications will say that you need over 2 million in gross sales or so on. If we've put them on the website and you're reviewing the getting approved section and you meet that criteria, that means that vendor will approve. A lot of times vendors just assume people will come to them without prior business credit history, and so they put that stipulation, but we found you can still get the approval. I also want to reiterate, do not supply a personal guarantee. If they come back to you asking you for a personal guarantee, just ask them to process your application without. If you ever receive declines, make sure you're asking them why you were declined and ask them to re-review your application manually. And sometimes that you can turn that decline into an approval. Make sure you notify the advisor team via phone or email of any declines that you receive. So why are you building business credit? We've touched on that a little bit, but as I said, most business lenders do check your business credit. They use it to determine the terms of your financing. So the terms can be the rate and the length of time that they're providing the financing. That's why it's so important that business credit is there when you need it. Building business credit also helps you when you are applying for financing with your suppliers and so forth. A lot of times clients overlook that if they can receive their supplies at a lower cost, it's going to save their business money and increase their profit margins. So this is a great overview of this page. Make sure you're reading through it in more detail, and when you complete your review of this page, hit Save and Continue at the bottom to proceed. All right, this is where we dive in. There's great information here at the top that talks about how to select these vendors and how to apply and then make payments. Keep in mind 30 to 60 days typically from the payment date for these trade accounts to report. These trade accounts are divided into different sections, so you can go through the list, select the accounts that you're interested in this box here. Notice that it's telling us a little bit about these accounts. It's listing who the company is, the service they render, who they report to, what it takes to get approved, and their payment terms. You can hit Save and Continue to review the trade accounts that are options here. This is 4.2, computers, electronics, and high-tech items. You can see that some of these do not actually report. The reason they are there is because they're helpful. They may free up some cash flow, and that's a great thing for a lot of our business owners. So that's why they're still within this system. You can ask D&B to manually add trade accounts when you purchase the monitoring. They give you the option to submit manual vendors within your monitoring login. So you can ask the advisor team for more detail on that process, but it's very helpful, especially if you have credit with vendors that don't report, or if you're using these vendors on the list that say that they don't currently report. Typically, we can get them on there. There are some stipulations, and we talked about that in more detail on the prior page. Okay, let's hit Save and Continue to proceed to the next section. Right here, we've got office supplies, marketing, print solutions, and so forth. So you're going through these lists, selecting those that are most helpful. Hit Save and Continue at the bottom. I'm going to select some of these, hit Save and Continue. I'll continue to proceed here. Okay, so on this very last page, these are our selected vendors. On this page, you'll see that I get more detail about this vendor. I get an actual link to sign up for the account, along with their phone, fax, their website, and so forth. Make sure you read this information. Make sure you're reviewing this getting approved information before you apply so that you know that you can qualify. Okay, you can see the same detail when you go to your dashboard. So if you ever want to re-review that information, you simply expand step 4 and you can see the detail there that helps you apply. Well, that concludes step number 4. Please feel free to contact the advisor team anytime you have questions. We are always here to help.